Hi, guys. So I hope that we're doing okay today. Happy hump day. Happy Wednesday. I wanted to go over our practice for today. So that we should be good to go for tomorrow, where we're going to go ahead and really dive into dividing when we have exponents, which we kind of covered yesterday in the notes, but we're going to really just practice with that between tomorrow and Friday. Those are going to be the big things for the next couple days. Okay. So, but for today, I wanted to go ahead and practice with the major parts of what we learned yesterday, which was the product property, which is where we add the exponents, and then the power of a power property, which is where, like we see in number 2, and in number 4 we see a power of a power. We see in number 7 a power of a power, right? So we see like those the parentheses, and then there's the exponent on the outside of that parentheses. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started. So what we need to do, we're asked to simplify each of the following expressions. Find your answer in one of the 3 answer boxes. We're going to highlight your answer in the box that you find. There is the option for extra credit, or there was the option for extra credit for when you submitted. And so that's explained in the rest of that directions. Okay, so let's look at number 1. So number 1 says 4 to the 6 times 4 to the second power. So again, I'm going to go ahead and review our properties here. And so my property here says that for a product property, we have x to the a times x to the b is equal to x to the a plus b. So when we have those like bases, and we have an exponent, what we're going to do is we're going to add those two. We're going to add those 2 exponents together, right? So that's being used in number 1. So we have 4 to the 6 times 4 to the second. We have a common base of 4. So I'm going to just go ahead and add. This is going to become 4 to the 6th power, 4 to the 6th power plus 2, right? So this then becomes 4 to the 8th power. And so here we just need to go ahead and leave them with exponents. If we were asked to evaluate, then these boxes would actually have numbers. We probably wouldn't have the variables like we see in 3, 5, 8, and 10, and then number 6 as well. We would probably just have numbers in there if we were asked to evaluate. So here we're just asked to go ahead and practice with the property, and our property here is the product property, where we're adding those exponents because we have those like bases and we're multiplying them. Okay, so that's what we're going to do for number 1. So 4 to the 8th is my answer here, and I'm just going to go ahead and circle that. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and look at number 2. So for number 2, I'm being asked 5 to the 6th to the 5th power. So this is now my power property. So power property, my power of a power, right? And so this says that when I have x to the a to the b power, this becomes x to the a times b. Okay, so then in this case I have 5 to the 6th, 5 to the 6th to the 5th power. So this becomes 5 to the 6th times 5. So this is 5 to the 30th power. Okay. All right. So number 3, as well as number 5, 8, and 10, they're all very similar problems. And so many of us actually just missed one step. And I explained that in the comments, but I want to explain it here. So for like number 3, we have w times x to the 8th power. And so we have 8 on the outside of that parentheses. So when we have like an exponent, this is going to be almost like multiplying when we have something like on the outside of parentheses and we're multiplying, right? Our first inclination has always been, one thing that I've noticed has always been to go ahead and distribute. So in this case, our inclination is correct. So what we want to do is we want to go ahead and multiply, or not multiply, but distribute that exponent to both w and x. So we want to distribute the exponent to both terms inside of my parentheses. Okay, so if I'm doing that, This then becomes w to the 8th power times x to the 8th power. And so we can just write this as w to the 8th, x to the 8th, right? I think in my comments, if you didn't get this one correct, if you read it, I went ahead and wrote this out. I actually wrote it out a little bit more. So this actually becomes 1 times 8, because, you know, this is technically a power to a power. So w can just be written as w to the 1st power as well as x to the 1st power. So w to the 1st times 8, and then times x to the 1st times 8. And so this just becomes w to the 8th times x to the 8th. Okay. So this is our final answer here. So we have this one here. And then 5 to the 30th is our next answer there. Okay. So let's look at number 4. So number 4 says 9 squared to the 4th power times 9 squared. So now I'm combining two different properties. And so what we talked about yesterday was that I want to go ahead and simplify if I have a power of a power before I go ahead and either apply the product property or the quotient property. Okay. So what I want to do here is I want to simplify that 9 squared to the 4th power. So what I'm going to do is write this as I should know now that when I have a power of a power, I'm going to multiply those two exponents. So this becomes 9 to the 8th power times 9 squared. And so this is now doing the product property where I'm adding those two exponents. So my answer here is 9 to the 10th power. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and do that there. All right. So in number 5, very similar, like I said, to number 3, where I'm going to go ahead and distribute that exponent on the outside of the parentheses to both terms. Technically, this is 2 times x to the 9th power. Just like in number 3 where we had w times x, those are two terms. This is 2 times x to the 9th power. So I'm going to distribute that 6 to both 2 and x to the 9th. So when I go ahead and write this out, 2 to the 6th times x to the 9 times 6. So my final answer here is going to be 2 to the 6th times x to the 54th power. So I have my answer here right there. Okay. So for number 6, I have a to the 8th times a to the 2nd. So in this case, again, it's just product property, just like in number 1. I'm just going to go ahead and add those two together. So this becomes a to the 10th, or whoops, a to the 8th plus 2, which is a to the 10th. Okay, so my answer there. All right. So 7 is just the power of a power property that we've been talking about. So this just becomes 3 to the 3 times 6, because it's a power of a power. So this becomes 3 to the 18th power. So this is that one there. Okay. All right, and number 8, now this is just like number 3, very similar. We're going to go ahead and distribute that 3 to the first, that power of 3 to both a and b. So we can go ahead and rewrite this as a to the 1 times 3 times b to the 1 times 3, which is just going to be a to the 3rd times b to the 3rd. Okay. So my answer here is that one there in the middle. All right. Number 9, I have 5 to the 3rd to the 5th times 5 to the 6th. So again, I want to go ahead and simplify that power of a power first, and then I'm going to use my product property. So my power of a power, 5 to the 3rd to the 5th, I'm going to multiply those two together to get 5 to the 15th, and then I'm going to add in 5 times 5 to the 6th. I'm adding now those two exponents to get 5 to the 21st. So my answer for 9 is there. Okay. And then lastly, for number 10, this is 7 times m squared to the 3rd power. So again, just like in number 5, I need to distribute 3 to both terms inside those parentheses, and both terms being to the 7 and then to the m squared. So this is going to become 7 to the 3rd power times m to the 2nd times 3. Okay, and because I'm multiplying because of that power of a power property. So this becomes 7 to the third times m to the sixth. And so that answer is that first one there. Okay, so I hope this is helpful. I hope that, you know, we're doing okay with this stuff. If you're still struggling, you need to reach out. Okay, I know that there's still a few of you that didn't really get any of these correct. So if you're watching this and you're struggling, you don't know what to do, our quiz on this is next Friday. Okay, and we're not going to be reviewing product property or power property until the quiz review comes. So if you need help, please let me know. Please let us know. You can sign up for extra help. We can go ahead and figure something out where we're communicating through Remind, we're communicating through video chat, whatever you need to go ahead and make sure that you do well on this quiz next week. Okay? All right. Thanks, guys.